Hi everyone, welcome back to the website. I hope you're having a good week and things are lining up well for you for this month. You're on track with your goals and you've certainly got your eye on your targets for the remainder of the year. I want to talk to you about today in terms of spin, and it's often a word that is related to politicians actually, in terms of the spin they put on things. And I think real estate agents generally can have their own vocabulary in terms of how they react to questions that come from people in the market, people watching the market. And generally those people are either people wanting to buy, or obviously those considering selling, or those sellers that are currently on the market. And typically the question is, how are you guys seeing the market? How are things? Because real estate is such of such high interest to people. When you think about it, you obviously know that it's often owners' biggest asset, their own home, their own property, or their portfolio, their investment portfolio that they've built up over a considerable number of years. And it's a topic of conversation that comes up regardless of how the market's going. So it's the spin that you put on, if you like. I don't know whether there's a better term for it. I'd love to hear from you if you think there is a better term for it. But it's the spin you put on in a positive way, because there's certain things in the market that we can't control. We can certainly control, I think, the time on market for a seller, the options that we offer, obviously the promotion of the property or the marketing or advertising. But in terms of the spin, I think you need to be positive. You've always got to be positive, you know that, but particularly in a market that is uncertain, not sure which way it's going. But what spin do you put on that question of how's the market going? How's the market performing? And you get those questions all the time. Open for inspections, at auctions, people you meet in the street, even socially when you're out and about and potentially people know you are in the real estate industry or you are a real estate agent. And typically it's going to come up at friends' barbecues and dinners and footy or the sport with the kids or whatever it might be, at the pub. How's the market? And even business people, for principals and business owners out there, obviously there's other business people in your community that are pretty keen to feed off you in terms of how things are going, because obviously they want, I guess, a glimmer of hope that things are on the move and improving. So I think, to put a positive spin on that, how's the market going? That's probably the typical question you're going to get. And I think there's a couple of ways you can answer that in a positive way. I think the first thing you can say is, are you asking me from a buyer's perspective or from a seller's perspective? Because it's different, it's different. It's a different way to answer that question. From a buyer's perspective, well, it is a good opportunity to buy. I tend to put the focus on interest rates and where they've been for the last 12 months. We're probably heading into a cycle now, early November. I think that we'll get a rate drop as opposed to a rate rise, or even the rates to stay on hold. For those of you that aren't aware, the last time interest rates went up were Melbourne Cup week last year. So we're coming up to 12 months, and I think the Reserve Bank will make a move on that. However, I don't have a crystal ball any clearer than yours. That's my prediction. So from a buying perspective, great time to be in the market. There's a lot of choice out there for you as a buyer at the moment. There's a lot of good value for you in the market at the moment. And why try and predict when the market's going to bottom out? Because the only way we know when a market bottoms out is when it starts to actually go up again, starts to rise. So if you see the right property, don't buy a property based on your lifestyle or your read on the market. If it's the right property for you, get in and buy it, because it's a great time to be buying. From a seller's perspective, talk to them about their timing, about why they're thinking of selling, and if not now, when. So if not now, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, if you're thinking of selling, if you didn't elect to sell maybe in the next couple of months leading up to Christmas, when would you choose to sell? You know, because I can tell you how the market's performing at the moment. However, I can't tell you what's going to happen in 2012 and beyond. We've been in this cycle for the last couple of years, and obviously it has softened probably more in some parts of Australia than others. Another good, I guess, way to answer that question, how's the market? If you're an agent that works in different types of markets, what I mean by that, you might have a home market or an apartment or unit or investment market. They might be two different markets that are performing at different levels in your marketplace. There are different types of markets within a demographic or within an area. So I think spin is very important. So it is very important to keep positive. But I think clearly the most important, I guess, lesson, or the best way or the most positive way to answer that question is that at the end of the day, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, regardless, there are properties selling every day. There are people entering the market every day, and there are people leaving the market every day because they've either bought or they've sold. And I think that's really positive. There are markets in other parts of the world, from what I've read and heard, and I guess you read a lot of things on the internet these days or via social media, where real estate markets have actually stopped. There hasn't been a lot of activity, but we're very lucky in Australia that we've got some buoyancy still there, even though it's not appreciating quickly, that real estate transactions are continuing to happen. So spin's a big thing. Love to hear what you think and your thoughts on this topic, and how would you answer that question. There's a myriad of other questions you can ask. However, that's typically the question you get day in, day out. How is the market? So yeah, it's really important to be positive. We're probably already aware of that. So what's your positive spin, and how would you answer that? So thanks for tuning in again. We're getting some comments going, and we're getting some people from different parts of the country, which is fantastic because everyone's in a different I guess, market where they are. But love to hear from you, and put a comment down below the video, just underneath, and would love to get some feedback going. So have a great day, keep positive, keep moving towards those goals, really finish the year off strongly, and I look forward to talking to you really soon on the next video. In the meantime, have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.